All right, welcome to the Indie Bandits Twitch channel and YouTube channel. My name is Jimmy, and I'm here with Joe.
Hello, Jim.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I can't start with the high level content of last week and tell you about the big shop because the big shop's been done. It won't be done for another month, but I'm having a good week nonetheless
Maybe
in
we
the
should
absence
end
of the
this
big
and
shop.
come back in a month's time.
Just call it. Yeah, I'll see you in a month.
Yeah. I did want to start this week's episode with something that I've noticed in the game, which seems to be that these three nations here that we're at war with seem to be having a bit of a conversation just outside England.
Just chilling and chatting.
Yeah, Spanish Navy, Portuguese, and Danish are discussing how they've all really failed massively when it's come to attacking the UK, and maybe there's a way they can get around it.
They're all having a long, hard look at themselves in the English channel.
Is it worth it? Is it really worth it?
Well, that's what they should be thinking, because if you're just joining us, last time we fought off the Danes and the Holy Roman Empire through some hardy defending, I think would have described it as. We dug deep and came out with the goods, as it were.
Yes.
But it sadly scuppered our plans to conquer the rest of Europe, which is why we're really doing this, isn't it? That's our raison d'etre in this
trying
campaign.
to take over as much of Europe as possible and Jerusalem at some point. But it's proving quite difficult because we've been, I would say, under attack from like the third turn of this game, and we're 143 turns in. So, and not just one nation at war.
All of them.
It's like every neighboring European nation has declared war.
And some have tootled around from not too far away as well. No, from very far away, some of them. But that was probably because of us, right? We were the ones that went and chinned the Egyptians. That one's on us, right?
That was on us because that was the crusade, wasn't it? We went over there and took that from doing a bit crusading. But we've hung on to it for pretty much most of the game, so...
Yeah, and admittedly, that wasn't us. If it was a crusade, that was the Pope who told us to go do that one.
Exactly,
so
we can blame him.
That's that's really on him.
It is.
I forget which Pope it was as well, because we've had a few popes throughout this campaign.
We've had a couple of really good named ones as well.
Oh yeah. They might have failed at the Crusades, but they haven't failed at picking excellently named popes.
No. I just want to reiterate, though, that the current king is King James, and I'm not sure that's ever happened to me playing as the English in this game, so that is fantastic.
Well, do you want to hear what would have happened in real life last time out? Because inadvertently, our secondary objective of this stream is for me to accidentally learn about Total War, the franchise, and about history, of which I know very, very little. So I've been keeping an eye on the parallels between our campaigns and real life medieval history. And last time out, we would have we played from what would have been 1350 to 1366 AD, of course. And during that time, according to primary school homeworkhelp.com or whatever it is, the website, the history website at my level, Edward the Black Prince would have
that's
defeated.
A good name, isn't it?
It's an excellent name. You'd probably argue not as good as King James, but yes, Edward the Black Prince, the Edward III's son, defeated and captured John II of France in 1356 on the 19th of September, so in about a month's time, but several hundred years ago. So it'd been this time of year as he took to France and defeated and captured. Actually, I should have checked that whether it took place in France. But what he did is he captured and defeated and then subsequently captured King John II of France. And here's me just assuming that took place in France. It might not have. It might have taken place in England. It's not like it could have taken place anywhere. That was kind of that bag, wasn't it? In this time period, just kings all over the shop fighting each other.
Yeah, they all just sort of. It's like one guy started a war to take over some land, and everybody else looked in and went, "Yeah, go on, then I'll have a go." I fancy me a bit of that.
And the kind of running thread that I've seen through medieval history, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this one, is that more than a running thread, it's a tangled web. Powerful families, like literally because they're all like intermarrying, and not even just within their own families, but across other powerful families and monarchies. every time something happens, someone's staking a claim to something because there's just so much overlap in like this king happens to be the cousin of this king, but they were both married to like sisters who were part of this land, and and then whenever someone dies, oh, there's fucking hell on because they're not going to just hang out at the wake and be chill. They're going to be like, actually, I think you'll find this large section of land belongs to me. And
Yeah, well,
someone else is like, I don't think that is true.
I was reading somewhere. Um, oops, someone worse than the Mongols is coming.
There's no one worse than the Mongols, is there? And I don't mean that to offend the Mongols, but I know that they were like prolific in conquest.
Yes, they were handy in a fight. I was reading something ages ago where someone was arguing that. So just say you had like a family, or
I do, yes.
but you say you ruled. For argument's sake, let's say your family ruled England, right? And it was a dynasty, and you were the third son in this dynasty. Therefore, you'd inherited the kingdom from your father. Like, if you didn't have a son, then that was really bad for you. You wanted a son to carry on the family name and to secure the throne for your family for generations to come, right? Have a son, they have a son, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I was reading an article a while back that apparently it was just as bad for like the average individual that the king didn't have a son. Depending on the king, obviously he had some tyrannical nut jobs who would like went around slaughtering everybody. But them aside, it was just as bad for the average peasant for a king not to have a son as it was for the king's family, because every time a king died without an heir, it led to like insane levels of like war and destruction and death amongst the population of that country. So like everybody, if the king was half decent, everyone's just like, can we please just have him have a son? Because my life's hard enough.
And they're like, be a boy, be a boy, be a boy, be a boy.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if maybe that's where like, the average person really caring about what the royal family has comes from, literally from self-preservation. Like, if they don't have a son and the succession line isn't clear, I might end up dead because my life is hard enough to begin with. It was quite an interesting theory, and it was an interesting article. I could not tell you where it was, though. It was a long time ago that I read that one.
It's a fair point, though. I mean,
oh, yeah.
And this is the kind of, like, we know, as we can see from, like, crusades and shiz, that beliefs get passed on and values get passed on. So if at this time it was important for families to essentially care about what happens to the royal family, just for their own well-being, you can sort of imagine the kind of like anecdotally speaking, I guess, the theoretical conversation that could be happening in families where kids like, why do we care what this like rich people do? And the parents are like, because if he doesn't have a son, war breaks out.
You might be fighting his.
You might be fighting his like
someone else's
duke
battles,
or some,
yeah.
Exactly.
Or some soldiers are going to come through this village, raze it to the ground, steal everything you've got, and rape your wife. Like, yeah, that's not what you want to happen.
And then they tell their kids that when they're older as well, when their kids are like,
and it fosters this like interest in what the royal family does, because back in the day, it probably really mattered what happened with the royal family for what happened with the average individual. These days, obviously, it's the
inverse. It's the royal family that has to care about what people think, and I think it was something you sent me. I think it was the Russell Brand talking to Ben Shapiro. No, it wasn't in that. Sorry, I'm mistaken. But it was Russell Brand talking about. It was the death of Prince Philip, and he was talking about the like interesting balance that the royal family has to tussle with, because they obviously want to keep all the power and all the money. That's sort of why they exist. But they can only do that if the people think they're worth having. So they play this like, how much power and money can we keep whilst also making sure the people still like us? So, it's essentially all marketing. It's just a big marketing campaign from the royal family constantly with everything they do to make themselves look important and also make themselves be liked, but whilst also being approachable enough that the average person in the UK and across the Commonwealth likes them, but elevated enough so that the average person will also revere them and think they're worth keeping as monarchs. And they have to toe that fine line, because if they go too far one way and people think they're too elevated above the average person, then we'll want them out.
Mm-hmm.
And
To be fair, I think
obviously
most people do want
they don't
them
want it. They do want them out, but they can be kept in because people still like them and the idea of them and all this, because they see value in what they do.
Yeah.
Whether it's of any value to them at all, that's another argument for another day. But the point I liked was how they play this. They have to be respected whilst also seeming approachable, so that people care about them and don't want to, do what they did in France with them and just start chopping their heads off in that.
Yeah. Although I don't think that we're past that point in history where people would do something like that.
We are, and this is an excellent segue. I didn't even plan this one, but because I get me interesting facts about today's calendar day, the 13th of August, today is the last day in which the UK executed some people.
Okay.
Peter Allen and Gwyn Evans were hanged for the murder of John Allen West on this day in 1964, becoming the last people executed in the United Kingdom. So when you said we probably wouldn't do that today, you are correct, and we wouldn't have done it any day after this day in 1964. Because there's that's quite...
It's crazy.
40,
I think that's not
50,
really that long ago, is it?
56... Yeah, no, 57 years. Nearly 60 years, but still enough for a lot of people's grandparents' lifetime, I guess.
Mad.
That we're earlier than some. If you want to look across the pond and that, there's still a lot of places that still have capital punishment. And look, that's also not a debate for a Twitch stream. I think
It's not.
some people will be, but we're not here to do
that's
the
a name right there, isn't
clickbaity
it?
thing.
King
Boguslaw,
the Malevolent,
nice.
from Poland has been excommunicated. Right, I don't know. I'm thinking I might play a risky strategy here, Joe. Cairo's revolting, and they're causing damage to the army. So I'm thinking I might pull everybody out, wait for the revolt to happen. But I've built these two bombards so that we can go back in and smash the city.
The walls down. Didn't we do this before?
We didn't have the siege
or with
equipment,
Cairo?
and we only had really crappy soldiers. We still only have not great soldiers, but it might be. They're going to keep revolting and then going to keep killing all the soldiers, and I'm not going to be able to retrain them. Every turn they're going to make it worse. Yeah, no, it's 35%. They're going to revolt like next turn. So
we've done this before though, haven't we?
I'm half considering just attacking Alexandria, to be honest.
Why don't you check what Alexandria's like, and why don't we just we're going to let Cairo go anyway, but
as you wish, sire.
We're going to lay a siege. Oh shit!
Yeah.
I didn't mean to click assault. Oh no, hang on. Oh damn it! I can only withdraw from it now.
they get killed
Joe,
if you
I've
withdraw.
made a mistake. No, but then I'll be stuck in. Hang on, what do they got? Can we beat them? Peasants? We can beat peasants. How many peasants do they got? They got 5 peasants. They've got. It doesn't look like they've got anything particularly strong.
Should we just risk it for a chocolate biscuit? And
We could do, because I reckon
it could be funny.
it could be funny. This might be the end of English occupation in the Middle East.
You know what? And many would be happy for it, to be fair, because they've done nothing but be annoyed with our presence.
Yeah.
You know what? And I don't blame them for that. I can understand some people from very far away that many of them have probably never even heard of, have rocked up, told them about this new god that's not theirs. Well, it technically is, but that's a debate for another day as well. But telling them to go worship a god in a different way, with different symbolism, and they've not liked it.
They haven't.
And then we left one of their cities, and they were like, "Oh, thank God, they've given us it back." And actually, literally before we were out the door, we turned back around and killed them all. But that was in Alexandria, right?
That was where we're attacking right now.
They're like, "Oh, this lot again." Yeah, because we
They've
left.
been gone for 20 years, but now they're back to cause more havoc. Yes, we are.
So I think maybe about 150 years actually. With thinking about just how long.
Yeah.
We haven't been in Alexandria for a while.
No, we haven't.
Because we did that old sneaky pretend we're leaving just so we can come back and slaughter them all. We'll leave and they were like, oh well, someone's got to be in the army now. Everyday people, do you want to be in the army? Yeah, all right. Oh shit, they've literally just about turned the second they've got into rank and file.
Right. These are what's going to win us the battle. These fellas.
Well, do you know why we're gonna win this battle? I feel it's a sign because this.
Well, actually, are these guys all? Oh, cool. They're all like.
We got some good fellas, right?
Well, they're all right. It's just they're actually more armored than I thought they were. So actually, we should be okay. But I forgot we'd upgraded them. Right, let's shoot down the gate first. Oh, they haven't even bothered defending the walls. Yeah, they. Look at this, man. Alexandria still looks European.
I don't know if does the game do that or is it just?
Yeah, it turned it European when we took it over and started building the European buildings. This is not what they would look like. No, so they've decided a hole up in the middle. It would have looked, I guess, kind of like.
Yeah, Moorish.
Sort of like Moorish. Yeah, Moorish sort of.
Arabesque. I think is the Egyptian, yeah. I guess, would be the obvious term.
Yeah, I don't know, like a whitewash building type of look to it, type of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, minarets and the like.
Blasted down that door. Let's just we'll make a few holes in like the AI do, so we don't get choke pointed. Don't think that's a word, but
you don't get the squeeze, as it were. We've you know what? There were a few when I was looking up stuff about today for today's stream, and I was looking at birthdays. There were a few interesting ones, and I just removed them all. And there's only one birthday today that you should know about, and I think you'll appreciate it.
All right.
But born on this day in 1970 was Alan Shearer. There you go.
Nice.
That's it. Happy birthday to War Alan.
Geordie hero.
I saw plenty of others, and I was going through the list, and I was like, 1970, Alan Shearer, English footballer and manager. I'm like, yep. I also like the fact that Wikipedia does not list him as a pundit, which is also fair. Nice. He's grown into the role. I think seeing recent clips of him now, he has improved.
He has. He's gotten better. We're gonna fire flaming ammo, Joe. I don't know what that does, but it might be fun. I'm gonna watch it from the peasant's point of view.
Oh, they're gonna have an awful view of this. I mean, but they're gonna have the best view and also the worst view.
Oh, we've missed with the first shot. Second one. Oh. Destroyed that house. Oh dear. These shots are not great.
No, but keep them coming because they're rather entertaining.
Come on. Okay, let's speed it up a bit. So I'm not attacking until I've spent this ammo. Oh, missed. Come on.
I mean,
missed.
Do they still knack stuff if they miss, though? Or does the game just go, nah, it didn't hit its target, it doesn't do any damage?
I mean, it does hurt other stuff. But everything around it is already damaged.
Yeah, but I like the idea.
These are not accurate.
No.
When they're shooting at walls, they couldn't be more accurate. When they're shooting at people, not a chance.
To be fair, we don't know how accurate they are because there's a lot of wall. So it might have not even been how much wall they were aiming at. They might have been lining up like, 30 yards down the way.
Come on. Oh, dear me. What are we doing there? We're just blasting down more wall. Okay, I tell you what. Shoot at the wall. Blast more wall down. See, look at that. You tell them to blast the wall down, they can't stop hitting it.
Experts at taking that wall down. They can't get enough of wrecking walls.
Tell them to shoot this space that they've been shooting at just behind it, and they're just like, nah.
Why don't you just remove all the walls and just cut out the middleman? Just work your way through the walls, and once there's literally no walls to hit anymore, then tell them to aim at the peasants.
For some reason, you can't destroy the bits in between.
Is it like they're like indestructible bits? There's only like pre-decided bits that can actually be destroyed.
guess so.
It's like the invisible wall on the ends of levels.
They're doing a good job of hitting it though. It can't be destroyed,
Like,
but they are going to town on
it's
it.
indestructible, like my resolve during a game of Siege. That was so funny last night. I'll say it on the stream, but that was as we were playing terribly. I might say it was not an evening.
I think
to write home
individually we were
about.
okay because our stats were
Just
pretty
not-
good. Just we
but
didn't
never
win
on
any
the same
rounds.
game. Just never in the same match though.
Yeah.
Like I think we opened and I did all but nothing. But the one game where we were having a good time of it, that killed me. We were all set poised, ready to shoot any intruders coming into the room.
Oh,
And
yes. Sorry.
that was the kind of shots. And I go, oh, there's a problem.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you just like, what? Where? Which direction? I'm like, oh no, I mean in real life, there's an earthquake. It's like, for real. It was fine though. Very, very minor earthquake. They don't happen too often in the air. Well, they happen, I guess, more often than they do in the UK, in the south of Spain, but they very rarely cause any damage whatsoever. We're very fortunate in that respect. But yeah, it was probably funny just as everything started to like wobble and my monitors were wobbling and my chair was wobbling and I'm like sat there and I'm already, I was more on edge over people coming into the room that we were trying to defend on Siege, because when you just like, when you're in that zone and you're just like, your hands like hovering over, ready to shoot.
Oh yeah, you're immersed.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, come on.
Oh, that's straight. I feel
bad
for
for
the dudes
whoever lives
in
here.
those houses. the tailor and the carpenter. These poor fellas who have just been like, oh, just opened me shop. Got great location on the front.
Oh.
And this, after 200 years of peace in Alexandria, this is the day they decide the English decide that they're done with Cairo and invade us. Literally unprovoked. We haven't even attacked them. We've let them be in a city that we didn't want occupied.
Oh, come on, get him. Oh my god, it's not working. It's not
They're
working.
not having it, are they?
Nah. They don't.
Might also.
I'll keep them shooting, but let's move everybody around.
Was there moving around? I think you should know, James, that today is also International Left-Handers Day.
Oh, that'll be good for you
Which,
then.
well, I didn't know actually, but
You didn't know. What
I
sort of
didn't
left-handed person are you? It's
know.
disgraceful.
And I am a weird left-handed person, and I mean not for the usual reasons I'm weird. I mean just like, as a left-handed person, I only write with my left hand. That's the only amount of left-handedness I have. Oh, and playing snooker and pool. Apparently, I play left-handed for those.
That's like me with I'm left-footed, but
I'm
everything
right-footed,
else
though.
is
Yeah.
It's bizarre. It's weird, but
I wonder if that's for having a dominant leg as well, because I know you've got a dominant foot for kicking, but I think you'll probably have a dominant leg for standing, because I know like exercising and like doing yoga and stuff like that, I definitely have a leg that I'm better at standing on, and it's the left leg, which means if I play football, I'd probably want to be kicking with my right foot because I'm more stable standing one-footed on my left foot. So perhaps you're the same. Perhaps you've always had like a right foot dominance for standing. So when it comes to kicking, you're like, well, I'd never want to lift my right foot off the floor too much and try and balance on my left because I feel less stable. I don't know. I'm not a biologist, but
I don't know.
But it seems like, if you're more comfortable standing on one foot already, then you'd probably favor the other foot for kicking something because you want that stable base to do it. Whereas with like punching and handedness, you mightn't have to do that because you don't have to like, you're not standing on your hands, so you don't have to worry about like giving up one of them. It doesn't affect your balance as much to throw a punch or hold a tennis racket or open a tin. Do you remember that tin openers? That's my arch nemesis. I think right-handed tin openers I don't like either. Left-handed just for writing tin openers and playing snooker or pool. I remember in our old flat we had I think there was a... Do you remember this tin of beans I tried to open with a fork for like hours because I couldn't use the tin opener? I don't know. I don't even know if you were in, but I literally managed to make a tiny hole, maybe enough for like 2 or 3 beans to come out, and then just slowly empty the tin, like bean by bean.
I do not remember that.
No, I think you were out, and I think if you came back in, I was too embarrassed by the fact that I didn't just go out and buy a left-handed tin opener because I'd committed to opening the tin the manliest of ways I knew. Through brute strength and no logical thought. So if you had come back, I would have probably hidden the tin and then gone back to opening it later if you'd left. Once you'd left again. These guys are enjoying these choke points though. It's looking.
Yeah, but we've managed. They've left a gap. They've left a gap, and I'm going to exploit it.
Yeah, they're sitting. They're defending deep, aren't they? They've parked the bus, as it were.
They have, but they're going to get done here. Have it.
The enemy's walls.
They're not going to enjoy that.
I mean, if we take this, it'll technically be the rare occurrence of actually capturing somewhere on stream. It's few and far between places we captured because we spend most of the streams just defending places we already own. We started off pretty strong. Like, we made the whole of the British Isles.
Yeah, we got them pretty quick.
That was done. I think that was done in a couple of episodes. And then we got like a foothold in northern France. We were attacking the Normans. Oh no, the French. Sorry, we're the Normans technically, in a way, sort of. And then everyone just fancied a go, didn't they? And then we got sent off on a crusade, which meant that we were a bit thin on the ground for taking over other parts of Europe. But we did get the whole. We got Cairo and Alexandria, but then had to leave Alexandria because of the unruliness. And then we took it back. Then it revolted fully, didn't it? And that's where it's been for the last 300 years.
Yep. And now we're going to go take Alexandria back. And the handy thing is, it's from rebels, so it's not like another nation's going to seek vengeance for it. No, those rebels have been in charge ever since they took it back from us, so it's been a rebel-owned city for 100 years.
Right. Some reason I thought that it would have just reverted back to the Egyptians, but yeah, I guess it's not like the Egyptians took it back. These are the most deserving of owning their city because they're the people who actually live there. They're not some some ruling class. This was for a while a city ruled by its people. I don't know how fairly it was. We weren't much involved in their local politics, but it does seem like they had a lot of self-determination, and the English monarchy did not like that.
No.
As is the English monarchy's style throughout history.
As is the way.
People, they do not like people running things for themselves when they could be running it instead.
The battle is very much in
and
our
profiting
favor.
from it.
If we remain true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
I'm glad Negative Nelly's on a positive today as
Yeah,
well.
he's feeling it today, isn't he?
Yeah, some days he's just not up for it, but today, on a Friday the 13th, are Friday the 13th spooky, or are they just bad luck?
Probably both now, I guess. I remember it was bad luck at first, but then they've had a couple of horror movies, haven't they?
Yeah, I guess they tied in the misfortune with horror movies, and now yeah, I guess it was just an unfortunate day, wasn't it? It's not a thing over here in Spain. I don't think the number 13 is inherently unlucky. I think it might be lucky here.
Yeah, alright, we're back in the scrap, and it all seems to be going wrong. For some reason, these peasants are insanely good at fighting. It's a bit weird.
And they broke our stream as well.
They did. Damn peasants breaking the stream.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're here to chat shit and kick ass, and we chatted so much shit it downed your internet connection. So I think it's time to kick ass, Jim.
It is.
Yeah.
Go get 'em, boys.
The peasants have rallied and are in good form. So apparently the little, I can only describe it as a pill, the like balance of power or whatever you want to call it, meter, seems to still believe the battle's in our favor. I mean, we've got a lot of guys on the sidelines, right, who are ready to jump in and kick ass if they feel it.
Well, we've got a lot of archers.
But they like move in close enough. Are they firing or?
They are.
Or do we, can we get them up on the walls? Would that help? Or?
No, we have to run through the city to get them up on the walls. And
Oh, let's not do that.
I fear that would not end well.
No. But surely the horses can't be much use if they're just like stuck in the city.
Just wondering how this is ended up not working out so well. It looked like we were just winning, but no. If I've been shooting my own men in the back, I'm just wondering if I've been accidentally killing them all.
I mean, that's not quite the levels of that era when you left York unlocked.
Oh, hang on.
You left
hang
York
on.
and left the door open.
It's an entire unit of spearmen I haven't used yet. Oh, I can shoot these now while they come out, so they'll get bottlenecked and shot to pieces, and then that should swing it back our way. Alright, spearmen, you need to get down here. Is anyone rallying? Is everyone rallied? Is no one rallied? No one's rallied.
Rally's good, right?
Yes,
Rally's
we want them
there.
to come back.
Rally is when like second wind takes place, right? You
When they
back
go, you
together
know
and
what,
you
actually, I know we
Actually,
ran away.
I'm not shitting me pants.
Yeah, I feel alright about it now.
You know what? My pants have reached maximum soilage, so really there's nothing to worry about. And what's the one when they cack their pants? Broken. Is that it?
Yeah,
Retreating, broken.
I would say broken.
What's the game called them? Oh, that game calls them routing.
Routing's running away, broken is running away and not coming back.
They're apparently broken and routing, but they weren't actually doing anything. They were just sort of waiting for your fellas to show up and kick some ass.
Our men are winning the battle. If
Are we?
continue
It doesn't
like
look
this,
like we
will
are.
Smash the enemy.
To be honest, I don't trust his opinion on battles.
No, he's
If
not
there's
been a
one-
reliable source of how the battle's going for the entire game, really.
No, he clearly is like watching a different battle to us every time over the past 400 years. He's like, our soldiers are done for. We've captured the enemy general. We have won the battle. You're like, what are you on about, mate? He said, you've changed your tune, haven't you? And then he's like, we're winning. Oh shit, no, sorry, I meant losing. Sorry, did I say winning? I meant actually we're getting our asses handed to ourselves on a plate.
Right, get these guys. You should do this easily. Spearmen against cavalry, that's always a...
Never ends well
There
for
we
horses.
go. The general's gone down, maybe that'll...
Wrong.
His troops will lose their will to fight.
Exactly, I couldn't have put it better myself. Negative Nelly. The troops will lose the will to
Battle
fight,
is very
having
much in
seen
our
their...
favor. The Lord is with us today. We've captured
He's-
the enemy's walls.
He's all over the place, isn't he?
I know, he needs to calm down. I think he heard us slating his job performance. He's like, I'll show them. I'll earn me paycheck today.
Get them. Get in there.
These
Oh,
lads are up for a Barney, aren't they?
yeah, but I think it's think the writing is very much on the wall now.
The enemy army
Yes.
seized the field.
Oh,
Pursue and run
that
them
shifted
down.
fast,
We
didn't it?
are victorious.
Once we got in. Right,
He
we've
would
nearly
have
lost
shut up once
everybody
the-
though.
Pyrrhic victory.
Pyrrhic, but yeah, we'll need to build everyone. We'll need to build that back up. And
Oh.
these Alexandrians aren't going to be too happy about it.
Oh, they loved being occupied by us, didn't they?
Did, but if we give them a quick,
Give them a
English
big,
soil.
give them a quick
Exterminate.
conversion. Give them a quick bit of conversion.
On my way. Yes, Your Highness. God's servant. I cannot preach. Yes, Your Highness. Continuing once I have rested.
all right, let's repair some stuff, and then build some stuff. What do we want to build? What can we recruit here? Nothing. God's sake. Let's build you, and then you, and then you. And we'll
We got loads of
retrain you
moolah now,
too.
right? Is that
Yeah,
loads of
doing all
cash
right.
in the
Bit of
bottom?
cash off that, yeah.
It seems we're losing less money per turn from Cairo as well. What happened there? It said it was like minus 300 a second ago, but now it's like minus 2
Well, that'll
o'clock.
be wiped off by the end of next turn. They're gonna just take that over. So, ooh, I'm wearing some fine armor now.
Nice. To just show how fancy you are.
I have my fancy
God's
pants on.
I nearly got some fancy pants today, actually.
Yeah, those leather
Yeah, well,
chaps you've been waiting for come in.
They have. Not wasting any leather for the ass cheeks though. So
It's the least part that needs any leather.
exactly. When is your ass ever gonna need protection from leather, from like falls and tumbles? It clearly not for ranching the assless leather chap. That is not farm attire, as it were. I know the original chaps were designed for like, I guess, ranching and horse riding and stuff like that. The assless leather chaps were not.
No, they
feel-
were not.
They
They had an
though-
entirely
though in-
different purpose, didn't they?
Yes, but probably the same amount of riding. Oh no, he didn't. Sorry. Moving quickly on. No, the last one a competition for some
Yes.
for like a
Assless
voucher.
chaps.
For the. I'm like, what are you looking at? She was like, don't come in.
We must make a stand. We are besieged.
Where'd you get that from? I won them in the competition, I promise.
I wasn't in a competition.
They're not mine.
Happy birthday. How did you know? For a silk shop,
The
so
enemy
they're not
lays
even
siege
leather.
to our people, sire.
They're just 50 euros off silk, not the raw material,
Just-
just like silk clothing.
Just go and get silk.
We've just got sheets of silk. Actually, I don't even know how much silk you get for 50 euros. I mean, like, are we talking like
Well,
meters or
twice as much as everybody else because you got half off.
No, it
After
was
facing
just
the
50
shit.
euros off.
Mongol
Sorry, it's
invasion, Nobody
what
would
a
have dreamed that a
Timurids?
serious peril could ever
The
rise from the
Timurids.
east again.
were they not the
However,
aliens in
Timur the
40k?
name, a mighty warlord from Transoxania, has arrived on the eastern borders of our maps, bringing with him a legacy of conquest that cannot be ignored.
Oh, I thought you said
Having already
Transylvania.
conquered Persia and distant India, Timur is certain to bring with him something exotic to show the people
Timur!
of the West. Something they will be sure
Did
to
you just try and say
remember
Timurid in the
as
voice of
long as
Timmy?
they
Yeah. Timur!
Timurid!
No, Timur, the guy who's leading them.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense. Timur!
Timur!
Timurid's too many
That's his
too
war
many
cry.
spells.
God's servant. Yes, Your Highness. On my way.
There will be much honor in defeating you, noble infidel. Despite
Oh,
being
is he meant to be? I swear they got the one guy to do all the accents in this game. Like,
They definitely just
because-
got one guy to do it.
he's just. It's weird that the Egyptians sound exactly the same as the Danes. Yes, I just say infidel. instead.
fighting you.
Is that the ones in the nondescript accent you were doing last time?
Yeah, just the Danish accent in this game. It's like the Family Guy Swedish accent.
Yeah, the hot pea.
Yeah.
Have a taste of my hot pea.
Fine day to sail.
It is a fine day to sail. I like the cut of your jib.
Elfgar Peckham. Is that him? Or is that just the guy in charge of Nottingham?
Who's
Not
this
Boaty-
guy?
not
Admiral
Boaty McBoatface.
Ambrose. Admiral Ambrose is a happy chappy. I like you, Admiral Ambrose.
I don't like his level of command. I think it's poor. So what happened to marrying off lasses? Because we were doing that really early on in the game, but they've...
We're marrying them off to potential princes because we've got a lot of family members now, so we can.
But I can't.
You need
I
them
haven't seen them.
because they're all just
where are
chilling
they?
in. There's 3 of them here in London,
More lies.
3 here in Nottingham, 1 there, 1 there.
All right, there's too
the-
too much. But these are blokes. Where are all the lasses?
They're-
Walking about.
Their job, well, they're getting married off, so they don't become. You can't have them as agents after that point.
As they just disappear. Do they never birth women? Like, are they not just?
They do,
not
but
more of them
then
pop
when
up?
they come of age, they become a princess. Then you marry them off again. So
So there's not many of them tootling around the map like there are in the early game where you haven't discovered out or anything.
there's not. Right, I'm gonna absolutely smash these jokers.
Glory await England, men. Attack.
Are we attacking them?
We are,
Or-
because I'm not sitting around while they siege the castle with like half the army we've got sat inside the castle, especially when we've got these massive cannons.
No, but I mean they're still attacking us as it were. We're
They
not
are.
capturing somewhere.
Next turn, though.
Like next turn we're out and after them.
We are. I'm going to defeat their king as well, and then I'm going to go attack their citadel.
Good. Because all these people attacking us is starting to wind us up. It's like, can we just conquest somewhere? Because it feels like every time we're about ready to conquest, something comes up, and it's normally like a Dane or a Spaniard or a Portuguese, though we haven't heard back from them in a while, I think.
No, we've shut them up for a little bit.
And the Holy Roman Empire. Obviously, they're more understandable because we're actually like attacking their places, but like we haven't even been to Denmark or Portugal or Spain. Like the only people who really have any grievances should be France and the Holy Roman Empire. And Holy Roman Empire only recently, we only started doing that like last stream. But France haven't even really attacked us much, have they?
No,
We need
not
to
really.
take back what was like, I guess, in a way, rightfully theirs.
Yeah.
But what is really rightfully theirs when talking about the English and the French fighting each other over millennia?
I know, they've
that's,
all laid claim
That's lost
to
all meaning. It's lost
has,
all
yeah.
meaning.
Who owns what? We've all owned everything several times. Look at the shininess of this army. They're all very shiny. Everyone's got good equipment in this one.
And ready to kick ass. And we're just
Oh,
waiting
here
for
we
them
go.
outside
Here we'll go.
with flipping cannons pointed at their FPS.
Yeah, if you're gonna stand still, fine, but it's not gonna end well for you. Oh no, the other cannons were miles back. You wanna? Let's have a look at King Jimmy. There he is, looking perfectly snazzy. Do you like me plumage, Joe?
James, I have been an admirer of your plumage for many years now.
I thought so. I think the plumage is looking particularly erect at this point as well.
Love a bit of erect plumage.
You don't want floppy
feel-
plumage, let's put it that way. Nobody wants a floppy plumage.
Do you remember Suit Fridays? This is going
do.
back to the silk conversation. Yeah, miss
Oh,
Suit
yeah.
Fridays. We should bring them back.
Suit
Must be-
Fridays was good.
Suit Fridays is like over a decade old at this point now. But that was the thing. I was trying to explain it to the lass because when she was shopping for silk and assless chaps, I gone, here, I don't need any ties. I've got tons of ties. And she's like, how have you got tons of ties? You never wear any ties? And I'm like, well, back in the UK, I have tons of ties because we used to do Suit Fridays. She's like, what's Suit Fridays? I'm like, it's in the name, really, but on Fridays you wear a suit. That's about it. And then you get out on the lash.
Yeah.
And you're just the finest dressed motherfucker in all of Newcastle.
You,
I was
you,
like,
you
everyone
act
else is in
respectable
jeans.
for a couple of hours and then you just get battered, but you look fancy getting battered.
Yeah. And then you look even worse later on because a suit is not the kind of attire that follows your drunkenness well. Like, you know, because a suit has to stay prim and proper for so long. The slightest, like, disarray to it is, like, amplified, you know? Like, just like undoing the top button suddenly like makes it worse. The tie getting loosened. You like
Yeah, it starts to
your
look
suit
raggy very
reflects
quick, doesn't it?
it reflects how wrecked you are. Whereas like a tap-in shirt and some jeans, they already are like unbuttoned at the start, so they don't look wrecked when you are. You know, they look exactly the way they started the day, whereas a suit is already on the limit of trying not to be wrecked from like the second you put it on.
Right, Joe, we're
And
gonna.
as
Sorry, but we're gonna unleash these things, and I just
we're
want to
gonna
see.
fire the cannons. Is this what,
We are. I'm
is this
using
what this is all about?
exploding ammo.
As we should be. With the levels of finery of a suit Friday.
We're gonna ruin the Friday for these snazzily dressed chaps.
They are. They could come along on Suit Friday. These
Yeah.
Holy Roman Emperors.
I would let this be a suit. That's fine. I'd be okay with it. It's a suit of armor, so it's a type of suit. Oh, here we go.
True. But it's also very fancy, and I think
Guys,
that was
these have
more
missed.
the thing.
Oh, that one nearly hit. That was
Feel
that
once
was
you know
terrible.
they've got cannons, just standing there is really. It's like you may as well be moving, right?
I'd rather
'Cause
just run forward at that point. Yeah.
Once you know they've got cannons, like I mean,
Oh,
it's not that cannons are more accurate at close range, so you're gonna have to fight them eventually, right? So why are they putting this off?
let's shoot the general and see if by aiming at the general we don't hit the guys in front.
Imagine if their aim was just so horrendous that like you just wipe out all those
Oh.
what 6 squads? 6 squads of mad Holy Roman Empire bastards.
Yep. Oh, he's got good plumage as well. I'll give him his.
He has
Give me his
showed
dues.
up to Suit Friday with style and aplomb.
Oh my God, are you not gonna hit anything? Oh, we blew up the ram.
Nice. Ramalama ding gone.
Oh God.
I'll go now.
Oh yeah. These two died in the explosion. Come on,
I love it.
guys.
They're just like forming back up, going. Just pretended to look. They won't be able to see that they hit us all the way over there. If we just hold formation, they'll have no idea. Just shuffle up, except that one guy. That's a Saint Boy, wasn't it? Was that the name of the horse in the Olympics that had that poor lass
Oh.
crying? Which,
Oh,
you know,
right,
the
yeah.
devil
Oh my
horse. I think he was
God.
called Saint Boy. That was so awful. And
The pictures of his face, though. He looks
Yes.
like he's fully aware of what he's doing. He's just like, yeah, that's right. I ruined your Olympics.
I don't know. I've searched.
Oh,
He was called
Right
Saint
in the
Boy.
middle.
Those guys got, but he was called Saint Boy. And there's an article saying, "What happened to Olympic horse Saint Boy?" I do not want to know, but I'm not going to be buying any Pritt stick for a while. That's
oh.
no, I don't know, but I just don't want to read it because I know what like
No,
For
they can't
people
put a
that's-
horse down because it didn't perform in the
because he's a
Olympics.
dick. I mean, look, I don't know. I'm sure horses have been put down for less. Like they put them down when they can't run anymore.
But even that's a
still
bit
live.
harsh. You're just like,
It's
can
completely
still...
harsh for people who say they like love horses and horse. It seems weird to keep climbing on them as much as they probably don't want to be climbed on.
And then
And
if they
then-
don't want
and
to
then
run, like,
killing them when
oh,
they do-
gotta kill them. It's the kindest thing to do, guys.
It's the kindest thing to do, and there's a few cracks that I need sealing up. I don't know. Yeah, but Saint Boy is a ledge. I completely respect Saint Boy. And that other one, which has the most excellent... it wasn't Saint Boy, it was another horse in the Olympics that just was not having it, and it just, like, ran through the jumps. Like, it just absolutely gunned it, and then just, like, knocked both the, like, little poles over.
Right, you know what, Joe? The cannons are not doing their job, so I'm gonna... You can stop,
Can archers
guys.
get involved?
Yeah, archers will be getting involved momentarily.
I think keep firing it. Move the cannons up. Maybe that.
I'm a little
do
bit
they
scared
have-
that the cannons are going to start killing off my guys. And as I saw from one direct hit, it takes out like 20 guys, so I'd...
Can you
I
not
don't wanna
position
do
the
that.
cannons around the sides so that they're not even like firing through your guys?
Could do, just
You know,
take
like-
them forever to get there. They're
It's
pretty
not like they're
beefy
coming
looking
at you.
things, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's not like they're coming at you, is it?
You know what we need? We need mortars. That's when you get like it, because they're like more anti-infantry. These cannons are more just for like destroying walls and stuff.
Do mortars exist? Was that a thing back then? Because I'm
British
thinking.
ingenuity, anything exists.
Well, I was thinking that like because I know like what First World War potentially.
Oh no, we had mortars before that. Yeah, well before that.
But probably not the ones I'm thinking of, right? I'm thinking of proper like modern military mortars. Was it all like tubes? Yeah.
Yeah, no, these would be like big.
Cannon-esque things pointing upwards, essentially.
Yes, essentially, yeah. Run, guys, run! Everybody, run! Get amongst it. Well, they didn't stick around too long.
They're running away.
They're regrouping because they're like, thinking better of it. Look at these fellas in a circle. I'm gonna shoot the general because I feel like it.
Or is this? No, they changed their mind. Thought it was all about to go down. Nope, it's not. It's the
AI is having a proper difficult time of it right now. They're like, I don't know what to do. So like
yeah.
we're massively outgunned. We're massively out, I guess, armed. They're not a fan of what's going on right now.
It's like when you try
Give
and
'em a
pass
charge.
someone in the street and you just both keep shuffling the same direction and you end up doing that kind of stupid dance, and then a load of horses show up and stab you.
The worst thing ever. Go on, get in it. No, stop. Quick horse charge routs them.
Can they still be shot at by the arrows now?
Oh,
We
yeah.
got arrows? We got archer boys?
Yeah, these guys.
Up there again. Yep, they're having a right time of it.
Coming again. Get him. Nope. Stop. Stop. Shoot him. If they can't figure it out, I'm just going to shoot them. No point in wasting soldiers and having to retrain new ones. Shoot them.
That was mint. Just that
What
little...
the collective. Whoa! Hoorah!
Yeah, it's like watching Iceland play football, which is like... That Iceland clap thing in the footy is just like awesome.
It wasn't
The
and
Viking
then
clap.
Wales went and like stole it, and it was just embarrassing.
I know. Really, they should just sing in close harmony and stick to what they know.
They should. I think they've got their own thing. Like, don't steal from somebody else. I know it looked cool when they did it, but doesn't mean you should do it.
But that's like that's their thing. Especially like, look, you don't want to be like
it was
second.
terrible charge.
You know what I mean? Like following a trend.
Oh yeah, no, it's embarrassing. It was embarrassing when they started doing it. It's embarrassing that they still do it.
The enemy
Just
are badly
stop.
bloodied. They have lost half their men.
No, they're actually coming in this time. You coming for it? You want to have a go? Get in there. They're too
I
close
think
now.
they're about to have their go. Like hoping these guys come around the side as well. I feel this is where the little balance of power meter is going to swing.
It's going to massively
Dramatically
sour
to our
against them. Oh my god, you see they're just hail of arrows flying over there.
I just proper swarming them now.
The battle is very much in our favor. If we remain true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
We always remain true and steadfast.
If there's one thing that can be said, is that we remain true and steadfast.
Historians
Oh, they don't know
will
what's
rate
happening. Boom.
Of our steadfastedness. Oh. that looked almost meme-like. So he zoomed in, and these just horses. Then Saint Boy arrived and just ready to kick ass.
Saint Boy's ancestors here.
I just say that all boss horses are related to Saint Boy.
And these are getting whittled down. Surprised they haven't run away yet. This is a hopeless situation for them to be in.
Yeah.
This is the
Their
point where the
assault
later
is
games are.
untenable.
Yeah, the later games are much better at being like, yeah, no one would stick around for this. No one would stick around for this. Yeah.
They know when they're licked.
I mean, I've still got ammo to shoot at them, and then like that means there's going to be less of them in the melee fight when they actually get there. Let's kill this unit because that one's already got less.
Are the blue bars your ammo
Yeah.
then? Ah, right.
There's still like loads of ammo in the culverins as well, and not that they're going to hit anything, but still, there's ammo.
Well, since there's none of them, are the culverins the cannon boys?
They are.
Well, since there's none of them left, do you want to just shoot them with the culverins for a laugh, or does that like cost you loads of money?
It wouldn't
Or
cost
would it
any
be
money.
like-
Just we'd be here forever, and they wouldn't ever. I mean, they didn't hit them when there was like 3 times this many number of them on the field.
But were they close?
They
Like,
weren't
I mean,
really close.
No, I mean not in terms of aim. Were they close physically to them on the battlefield? Does their aim improve with range, or?
I have no idea. I get the impression that all early medieval artillery was effective against stationary targets and walls and things, but terrible against infantry.
Smaller units, yeah.
Right, they're done their arrows, so just finish the rest of them off, and then I'll go for a charge to end this. Get me horsemen at the sides of this bodyguard unit. Oop, taking the bait. Go, go, go.
It's like watching them play tag in the park. It's like, oh, I'm over here, I'm over here. Oh, no, he's gone to base, man. He's running a... Oh, he's got a den. Oh. Classic misdirect.
Oh, here we go. You've cocked up, fellas.
Are they making a run for the red line at the back? Or are
The
they
guys have missed that
close to
charge
it?
terribly. I don't know. Are they actually running away?
Must be, right?
Ah, they
Bye.
are. Alright.
Saint Boy wouldn't have ran away. I mean, he wouldn't have done anything he was told to do, so...
Here we go.
he would have still been stood as the oh, that guy went flying. As the cannons fire at him, Saint Boy would be like, I'm not jumping. What you on about? Not a chance. Saint Boy, the hero of the Olympics.
Cowardly foe. All of Christendom will be awed by the...
Jesus, don't look. It was a good victory, mate, but they didn't.
We're
Don't
not going to be awed by
oversell
that.
it.
Yeah. We were massive. That someone finally paid their ransom.
Glory,
Yay!
honor, victory.
Right, let's kick some ass.
Right, shall we kill the Imperial faction heir, Prince Ruprecht the Cruel?
Well, he's cruel, so really, there's not even a moral quandary to consider. You can just kill him and keep your conscience clean.
As you will, my king.
King James is up against Ruprecht.
Glory to your name.
Oh, we're
gonna-
just killing them out in the field.
Oh yeah.
Attack.
There's some
No
random
holding
elephants.
back. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the elephants in this game are, as you can imagine, quite overpowered.
But shit at climbing ladders.
terrible at getting over the ladders. If you're waiting for them to get over the ladders, you'll be waiting a long time. Let's put it that way.
Look, just if you've got elephants, don't expect them to get up the siege tower.
No. That's the last thing you should expect them to do.
Excellent at assembling it, but God, climbing it, nah. Why are they all shouting heavy infantry?
So that's all we have is just lots
There's a
and
lot
lots
of
of
them,
heavy infantry.
I do like how they were just like doing a bit of a barbershop with it, like heavy infantry.
You never heard this song, Heavy Infantry, Joe?
It's a banger. Clubland classics.
It is an absolute classic. Forward, heavy infantry. It's like a really shit rap.
Or just postmodern. It's just that's what you call stuff when it's like too clever to be good, right? It's just like what is this
when
shit?
it's really shit,
postmodern.
it's postmodern. Yeah.
It's like it's so shit we know it's shit. So what we've done is instead of going with all the things that we know are good, we've went against them and pretended they didn't exist, and now we have something and we're calling it postmodern. Just don't even worry about it.
I'm gonna hide some dudes in the nice thick woods over there.
Sounds like an
Oh
innuendo.
my god, we've got pikemen. I didn't even know. You can go here in front of the culverins and bless you, so you might get all blown to pieces.
We get height advantage. Like, does
Yeah.
the contours of the terrain assist us in any way?
It gives
And
you
will
more
having-
range.
And will having those terribly aimed cannons up a height aid or hinder us?
You never know, but we'll find out shortly. Put
I
some
like it.
stakes down now and some pikemen, so no one's getting through that middle. If they should get past
living life
everybody.
dangerously with the culverins.
I also like to live dangerously.
Hashtag that culverin life.
You know, right? They're all the way over here. The culverins reach that far. Damn it! How do you not reach that far? Come on, come and have a scrap. Stop hiding in the woods. Hang on, is there a much bigger hill up here? Do you reckon we could get up here and reposition all the way up here, and then they have to come up the hill? That would take ages.
Sweet Jesus, stop swinging that around. You're making this car sick. It's like so jank, the scroll. It's like... Do you remember the intro to Aquila? Was it Aquila? The Roman spaceship show on CE,
Oh, that was
in the
mint, that.
90s? It was
Yeah.
it was class, right? But it definitely had some, like... They weren't drone shots, because there weren't drones in the 90s. I mean, there were, but they were, you know, probably for military purposes, not like ones you can buy in Argos or whatever. Argos, the store, if you're not familiar with the UK, not Argos, the Greek city. Is it a Greek city? Argos?
Yeah, it was a city-state, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it had this like big panning shot at the start. Remember, just like Aquila flying over like fields, which I'm sure they just like rendered a small plane and like. It might have been the same footage as that one where the grandma took you out in a plane with her dog. It wouldn't have surprised us if they just were like, you know what?
Repurposed it.
They were just like, look, we already filmed a load of English hills going underneath the plane. Do you want to just like blue screen your spaceship over the top of it? I'm like, yeah, that'll work. That'll work. That's what it looked like as you were panning, as like the frame rate just flipping dive bombed, and you just got like this random like array of just. It looks like stop motion trees where you fly over this terrain. Like flipping Frosty the, you know, is it Frosty the Snowman? No, Rudolph, man, the stop motion Christmas special.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gee whiz, Santa, can I? No, that might be Morty or Rick.
I was going to say, that was 100% Moy.
Oh, gee, Santa, can I? Can I lead your sleigh? Oh. It was a. You know what? When you were clicking all those heavy infantry, like heavy infantry, and it's like all these voice cues. I was watching Rick and Morty the other day, and I swear to God, they threw in a random Command and Conquer sound bite. There's a fight, and I swear to God, it's that like high-pitched squeal of a soldier dying.
Yeah,
from, like,
you know
the
what?
OG Command and Conquer.
I'm pretty sure I heard the same thing.
You heard so?
Yeah,
What, you watched it and heard it, or you heard?
I
Someone
think
talk
I
about
watched it and heard it. No, I was watching an episode the other day, and I think I heard exactly
Was it like
the same
one of the
thing.
latest ones?
Yeah,
Oh.
of the new series.
Where he's in like the memories, and there's a fight, right? The bird person episode. He's.
Oh no, hang on, no, that's not the one I've read.
Are you not thinking of the Wilhelm scream? Because I know they throw that.
No,
in
no,
all
not
the time.
that one. I know what you mean. It was a
Like
it was a
soldier,
Command and
high-pitched
Conquer.
soldier. Yeah, I looked it up, and I think someone else noticed it. But I swear they just like wholesale lifted it. Oh, hang on, this is something. Oh, hang on. This is something else. Oh, this is going back from an episode, a different episode. But apparently, from this band's here, they're saying that some of those sound bites from CNC are like fully like licensable sound banks that you can just like the Wilhelm scream. You can just like, yeah, it's it appears in a lot of different things. So yeah, I guess they've also used it, but it's a great scream. You know exactly which one it is. It's just
that's a cracking soundtrack as well, though. The Command and Conquer soundtrack.
Any of them, because you've got the whole like all the Tiberian ones had mint soundtracks, but Red Alert and Red Alert 2 was
Red Alert 2,
where it really got. We're just like with all that like. All I can say is like. Oh, I can't even remember the name now, man. What they called, man? You know, the band that all the Red Alert 2 soundtrack sounds like. German fellas.
Rammstein.
Yes, thank you. That's it. Yeah, they all like all the entire soundtrack is sort of that like that kind of metal, and then like what's the like absolute? Is it Hell March? Is it called Hell March? The tune that's just like the one from like the opening video where it's got like the soldiers like marching and it's like.
Oh yeah.
And it's like this is just like there are few. I think game soundtracks that just like get you so amped up for the game you're about to play than like that Red Alert 2 soundtrack where you're like, I know what I'm in for now. The second that like German militaristic metal like soundtrack start banging on with like fucking Soviet soldiers screaming, you're like, I think I know what to expect from this game.
Yeah.
Now. And then you've got like all the like campy live action stuff. Like they need to do something like with that, and like because the whole like campiness was a huge part of it as well, wasn't it? It was like
you sort of
you knew the
great fun,
cutscenes were
wasn't it?
pants. Yeah, you like the game was good, but they knew the cutscenes were not, and they just really lent into that. And I think that's like if you can't make something good, acknowledge that it's not. Don't go around acting like it is. If you get what I mean, like some like Red Dwarf used to do this as well. Like it knew that like TV sci-fi never did effects well, and then just totally like ran with that.
Yes.
And I think later Red Dwarf looked worse because I think they were actually like with some like CGI stuff, they were trying to make it look good, and I'm like, it was better when it was like just a big like figurine of the spaceship, clearly like illuminated by a flipping torch on a soundstage or something pants like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell that like this model you were looking at was probably about the size of your hand or some shit like that. And you're like, yeah, that's fine. We can use our imaginations. It's not a bother. Whereas now TV sci-fi is good. effects wise, like I think technology's moved on enough that you can make very acceptable
Yeah,
movie
which is
quality
like
effects. It's good for the
that's
genre.
good. Yeah, yeah.
But
That's
there
no
was a
bad
very
thing.
stinky phase, like from I guess 1950 until maybe about 2010, where all TV sci-fi just didn't look that great. Especially since film sci-fi was always so far ahead of it. If you get me,
Yes,
like
and
visually speaking,
I would say the same for TV fantasy and film fantasy as well.
anything like the gulf between TV and film was with things that required a lot of effects. Like I feel like TV cop drama, fine. Film cop drama, that all of them would look much the same, except for like the car chases, which is again is where it would like fall flat.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of things that could, genres that would work well on both, and you wouldn't see this huge gulf in quality between them. But sci-fi and fantasy were not part of that club. They were very noticeable. Which ones were what was made for TV and what was made for film. Like
Yes, definitely.
the differences in budgets clearly showed when it came down to these special effects, but I don't think so much now. I think we're hitting a point where
No, not at all. Now I would argue. I know you haven't seen it, but the latter seasons of Game of Thrones looked as good as any film I've ever seen in terms of special effects. The amount of money they spent on it. And I don't know if you've seen any of the stills or any of the news around the Amazon Lord of the Rings series, but the amount of money they've spent on that is astonishing. Like that's probably going to look
I haven't
immense.
I haven't seen any of the stills, but I did see like news stories popping up about it. But now I don't know if it's so much the technology and just the differences in budgets, but I feel for a while the two came very close for similar budgets. I might be wrong, I might be speaking out my arse. Like I think there was a certain point where the technology to make decent effects became much more affordable. At least, it closed the gap a lot. Maybe around, I'm going to say around like 2010, just, from memory, completely like anecdotal evidence, yeah. But now, I don't know if you could even say that gave them a platform to be better and garner bigger budgets.
I think it was just the TV becoming, in general,
Bigger.
a lot bigger and better, and a medium that people wanted to see blockbuster content on. They're more okay with it. So, like, the numbers of people that were tuning into Game of Thrones, it became like a wildly profitable TV show, to the point where they were more than happy to sink cash into it because it was watched by hundreds of millions of people.
Yeah, and it wasn't, and I'm not saying anything made on TV was throwaway content, but it seemed less throwaway. Like, they're like, it was no longer, like, TV was no longer the space where if something runs for, like, 5-10 seasons, it's not just, like, not garbage. I don't want to say that for, like, long-running shows, because there were some very good long-running shows, but they were
easy
often,
to
like,
sort
soaps.
of produce.
Easy
type
to
of thing.
produce. Yeah, there are no special effects. There are, everything's filmed in front of a studio audience kind of thing. Like, Friends is excellent, ran for like 10 seasons or whatever. A lot of stuff like that is like your budget's much the same, except every so often when you need The Fly episode, as whatever they're called. Like in Breaking Bad, it was The Fly, but there's always apparently this is down to, and this happens in a lot in animation as well. Apparently it's like they stretch their budget for like more ambitious episodes,
so they have to have these compensating episodes,
clip shows, etc., etc. Yes, and this is an ongoing thing. So and I think it makes for a different experience. And like with Breaking Bad, I really liked the Fly episode.
Yeah, it was not bad. Yeah. I know some people hated it, but
people hated it, but I liked it because it was a really nice, like, it was like sitting down and having an interview with the characters, but they're in character. You know what I mean? If you're the kind of person who likes that kind of thing, who likes to like watch interviews of like your favorite band and you want to see them when they're not playing music and stuff like that, I felt that was a similar kind of like showcase for the characters themselves. And it like, and I felt the writers had that opportunity as well to just explore the characters and literally just have them like vocalize all their thoughts and feelings without it being through action. And I thought that was very interesting. Like, I felt you learned more about the characters in like that one episode than you perhaps maybe had in like 3 seasons or whatever. But I get it. Like, it's it's a show where a lot of stuff's happening, and then like this episode comes along. But it's like I like the mix. I think sometimes you need that kind of crack on, and even if it is just because they blew all their budget on like a big explosion 4 episodes down the line, or you know, in the same season, they're like, right, look, we're gonna need an episode where we only hire we only pay 2 cast members for the day, and have them filmed it all in on the one sound stage or whatever, and that's us done. Yeah, it's fine. It has to happen, and I think constraints often bring out the best in any like creative media.
Oh, it always does.
Medium in creative.
Me and Archie
media.
have spoken about it before, but I'd argue. Well, certainly the
Don't
best...
give Peter Jackson loads of money in Infinite.
Oh well,
Films
no,
to make
that'll
a
be
film.
there's that one, yeah, for sure. But probably a more easily comparable one is probably arguably the greatest Bond film of all time, Skyfall, had its budget cut massively while it was in production, and
It was like a production nightmare, and
Yeah,
people
and it-
did good with what they had
Exactly,
instead of just
and-
letting their ideas run wild.
and the one that followed it, which went back to normal, was unfortunately a bit of a mess. But Skyfall was fantastic and proved that a Bond movie does not need $150 million to make a great movie. I think that was a $50 million budget in the end, and it was fantastic.
And it's not. I mean, I think they're probably still doing it, but I remember. So I had this was back in uni, and I had a translation to do at uni, and it was on one of the Bond films, one of the Pierce Brosnan films. But one of the key points I remember is that the film had already made money before it was released because of all the like corporate tie-ins, because he drives X car and wears X watch, and
Yeah, there was a lot of product placement, wasn't there, in the old
in those
yeah.
Brosnan in the Brosnan ones.
That was the thing in
Brosnan
movies
was
at that time,
everywhere.
though. I think they'd all just figured out
iRobot.
that product placement was like a great way to guarantee a return on investment. So they all started doing it until like fans were like, "Can you please stop? Like, we see this. It's not. You're not hiding it."
Well, iRobot, that went up on
Yeah.
Netflix over here not too long ago, and the lass hasn't seen it and probably will never watch it because it's not her kind of crack on. But I was like, look, I just want to show you the first like couple of minutes of this film, because it's mental how much it's just an advert for the first 5 minutes, and it's Will Smith getting like, it's meant to be like introducing him as a character. And look, it's Will Smith about 15, 16 years ago. He's been working out. He's getting in the shower, but before he gets in the shower, you have to see that he's got like a JVC radio and all this crack on in his flat. And then, just as he goes to leave the house, he opens a box of Converse and is like, a thing of beauty, and then puts them on. And then later on in the film, someone is like, what are those? And he's like, vintage Converse 2006 or whatever the year the film came out. So he's literally wearing the Converse from that year.
Yeah.
And says it, and literally like, you may as well just look at the camera and being like,
Buy
like, these
Converse.
shoes. Yeah, like it's there's just no point in even being subtle about it. And like all the cars in it are Audis, and like,
I want to know if that actually. I want to know if these companies see an uptick in sales off the back of movie product placement, because I can't imagine anyone cares.
I think they do. I think that, you know what, the
Really?
only reason I
Off
think they
a
do is
movie?
because they wouldn't do it if they didn't. Like, this is how it works. Like,
But then they haven't done it for a while, though. I'm wondering if like
I
that
don't-
was the
maybe
big
they don't.
experiment, and now they're just like, actually, you know what? That does
Or
not
it was
work.
it was working and then it stopped working because audiences started noticing it. I think like we have this kind of like ongoing battle with, you
Like
know,
the ad blindness that people have on websites these days, where they've done experiments. Apparently, people don't look at certain sections and locations on
Page
websites
anymore.
because they
course not.
expect to see ads there, and they just don't
Yeah.
even see them anymore. They're not even looking. It's just kind of crazy, really, when you think about it.
Yep. And I mean, I do exactly the same, and I feel bad for it because I watch a lot of YouTube, and I really like it as a platform, not for like
I like
the
it.
garbage. Like, don't get me
There's
wrong.
some
There's a lot of,
quality, what you would call shows on YouTube, though. There are
and
some
not
really
even
good
not
ones.
even shows. There's just good videos, like good content
yeah.
by people making something that's and I like informational stuff. I like I watch a video and I learn something from it, and that's me. That's the kind of content I like. But at the end of every video, there's always the like product placement where they go, "This video is brought to you," and I am already, and I can already hear the lead in. Like as they start to speak in a certain way, I'm like, this has turned into ad territory. And then I just move on to the next video in my playlist. I know the next 2 minutes are them telling me about, and it's always the same products. They clearly like target the same. Lots of people. For a while, it was these like wireless headphones. At the minute, it's a lot of these like meal delivery services. On a lot of them, it's certain VPN services. The VPNs pop up a lot.
That's a massively popular ad thing on YouTube channels.
Yeah,
nearly every big YouTube channel is sponsored by some VPN. It makes sense, I guess.
Of course it does. But again, I've like become immune to it now because it happens just so often that it's just like. It's not that you don't notice them anymore, but you just know what's coming because it's always at the end of the video for the last minute and a half or something, where they're going to tell you how if you whatever this is, if you sign up to it and use the code that has / in the name of that YouTube channel at the end, you'll get like a nice discount. And if it was something I'd wanted, I'd go use that. But generally, it's like it's not something. It's not ever a product or something that's applicable to me. So I don't.
Our men are winning the battle. If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
But again, like that must work. People wouldn't be doing it if it didn't work.
Yeah.
At least not. So I guess it stopped working with product placement, and people have to be like, marketers just have to be smarter and do different ways to grab our attention. Because I'll buy something if it's something I guess like I want to buy or something that I would like to buy, and then I hear about it. Everyone needs to stop pretending that they're really clever and ads don't get to them. Ads do get to you. Not all of them. I'm not saying like every time you see something you go out and buy it, but there are some people that genuinely believe they're smarter than all the data, and they've
never been convinced to buy anything ever. Like, yes, you have. Yeah,
you have. You have no idea. Like you know.
Even something as little as how many times you've been in the supermarket to get a particular thing and you've come out with a lot more than you were going in for. That in itself shows you've fallen for it.
Something up at the till. Like you're at the till and you're like,
that means you've fallen for something.
Yeah, you know why the Snickers are right next to the till? Because that's the best place for them to be when you're like, oh, I fancy a cheeky Snickers, or whatever. I'm just gonna buy that, or gum, or like all this stuff. Like, yeah, look, the whole world. If you live somewhere that runs on capitalism, you are going to get marketed at, whether you want to or not. Everywhere you go, anywhere you do, any public space, people running companies will be looking at ways to exploit that space to increase the sale of their product, and the people that own that space will be happy to sell ads on it, essentially. Like that's how people who have eyes or ears on whatever they're doing will happily sell that for people who want to sell something to you. And yeah, that's how it works. And like, you can be a savvy consumer. I think people get too head up at ads themselves. Like, people get upset at the existence of ads and marketing and stuff like that, where it's like you can still enjoy ads and buy products that advertise to you and still be like a savvy shopper and an ethical shopper. I think there's like,
yes,
you can still buy things and you're not an evil person.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. And it's like, I love capitalism. Please just, I wish everything was just Amazon, and then I could just like have toothpaste delivered to my face at any hour of the day with, by drone. No. But I'm also not like, get rid of it all and have no products, and let's have everything just like in grey packaging with what it is on it. Cool. Here's your state mandated like bread. It's just called bread. Like, no, come on, calm down. I like having a choice of bread. I was having some toast today, and I was like, This bread's canny. I think I picked this up on the way back from a walk from a supermarket I don't normally go to, but I kind of like it. And you know what? I think that there's some market research there as well, where they're like, you know what? If you find one product you need in a supermarket, you'll go to it. Whereas it takes a supermarket not having one product you need for you to never go back there again, or something like that. Which is why, like, they have like these massive, incredible systems that operate like stock management and all this kind of like mad stuff, where they see like a slight uptick in something, and then suddenly like the machines have ordered in like tons of it to every branch. Yeah. Morpheus, what will there be in this orgy? Yeah.
That's coming out this year, isn't it?
What, Andy Dick?
Matrix 4.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I had to look up there just to see if... I don't know. Just to see if Andy Dick was gay. Just after that.
You needed to double check that.
Behold how our cowardly foe
I don't think he is gay.
It's time to press the
Is he not?
No? Maybe. I don't know.
All
I
right.
have no
I
idea.
would. Maybe it's wrong to assume, but I kind of just had the thought that he was. I don't know if I just kind of thought that I knew that or not, but I just thought that he was.
He definitely played a lot of gay.
That's what I thought. Yeah, maybe I just assumed that he was because of maybe that was probably wrong.
No, he played a lot of gay characters apparently. Just
Fair enough.
because he was married to some lass called Yvonne. I assume it's a lass. I mean, her name's Yvonne. From 1986 to 1990 and fathered 3 children. I mean, he might, again, was the time.
Everyone does the whole Oscar Wilde thing, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You could, you could argue. You could,
Still, though, I would expect Andy Dick being
live your truth, Andy Dick.
But not just that. Like he's in entertainment
There we
and
go.
stuff. So
There
I would
we go.
assume that like coming out in that world would be a lot easier than say coming out in the world of like the NFL, for example.
Or like, and I'm thinking like Zoolander, but like in a family of miners. I don't know. Maybe miners are really open-minded and modern. I have no idea. I don't know any miners, despite I think we're all from like potentially mining families at some point, but I don't know any people still mining. But yeah, maybe in
they
like
all
Zoolander,
got shut down, didn't they? Really?
They did. But no, in 2006 interview, he said that he was bisexual. So Andy Dick, it's clearly been living his truth for a long time. But he was married for a while, and clearly casting directors noticed that he had some tendencies that could be portrayed as gay on screen, and played a lot of gay characters as well.
Yeah, I just kind of pushed that into because he played so he often seemed to play that character. I just assumed that he was, but fair enough. Well, King James gave Prince Ruprecht
A whooping.
a bit of a whooping. Yeah, and those culverins actually did pretty well this time around. So maybe at longer ranges they're actually better. Do you reckon they're going to pay this ransom, Joe?
Holy Romans, yeah, they love paying ransoms.
Oh.
Oh, God damn it! Thank God I didn't bet on that.
Uh-oh. I've done a silly again.
Did you leave somewhere open and not lock the door?
I did, but that should just mean they get a little bit pissed off for one turn. Oh God, imagine if they were like, surely the horsemen have got to be... Yes!
Hail my king!
The
The
horsemen
horsemen
have
can get
enough
in.
to get in. Okay, good.
So that'll make them think twice about.
It just
attacking.
means if someone attacks, that there's at least something to defend them until I get there.
Hail my king!
Right. Apparently
Nice, so I get
the Holy Romans do not like us at the
Hail
minute.
my king!
Tell you what, look how many
don't
many
blame
stars King James has next to him.
6.
So in terms of
Fair
command, he's so bold and confident in command that this man could lead an angry mob to conquer an empire. Yes, he could.
Should we
And
get that angry mob mobilized then?
we
So I
already
feel
have it.
we-
His people consider his word nothing less than divine mandate. Fantastic. In terms of chivalry, though, not so much.
Sounds like you.
Only my lord's
Stop it.
enemies.
We trust your command, but I have seen you just randomly pushing women out the way in the street. I don't know what the chivalry meter measures actually. I assume it's not
Hail, my king.
your belief of equality of the genders or
Well,
sexes.
I
Or
think it's important to point out on a public stream that that is not the
Hail, my
truth.
king.
I would hope that people know that I'm likening you to a fictional character in this game with I assume randomly. Yes, let's go on the record here that
Honorable,
James is
glorious victory.
very chivalrous.
Hail,
I
my
will say though,
But not overly chivalrous that it would be outdated and condescending. I think you just whatever the right level of chivalrous is, Jim, you're that.
the normal
Because you're
level,
not-
the
you're
human
not
level
throwing
of
women out the
chivalry.
way. If
I'm not.
if they want you to hold a door open, then you will. But if they want to open the door themselves, you'll let them do that as well. You are just peak chivalry,
Peak modern day chivalry.
peak whatever that is. It's like, look,
Hail, my king. Making
you let them
here,
vote.
noble sire.
They,
But I did actually funny story back when so
I hope this is about voter suppression of women. But go on.
no. We were in Italy on a school trip. And we were going, it was like, we were in a hotel in Sorrento, I think it was. And we were going to Herculaneum for the day, which is like a mini Pompeii.
And an awesomely named place, but yes.
It is, yeah. And it took a train and I think maybe 2 trains to get there. Could have just been 1 train. Either way, it was 3 teachers trying to get 30 kids from point A to point B, which, as you can imagine, for them, bit of a nightmare. Also,
I've taught, yeah, I know. It's like it'd be easier to herd sheep, but yes.
yes. And obviously for us, none of us spoke the language, so, we're all basically following the teachers. No one, kids aren't paying attention. So if the teacher tells you to go somewhere, you go there somewhere. If you get lost, you're screwed because you haven't been paying any attention. So anyway, we're waiting in the train station to get on this train, and there was a lot of people in the train station. We were there in rush hour, so it was in the
Oh,
morning.
jeez. Yeah.
And the train pulls in, and there's no room on this train, right? And the teachers all decide we're getting on. So they say, everyone on the train. So all these kids start piling in, but obviously there's other people on the platform, and there's people in the train. So this woman, I would say, I mean, I was probably 11 or 12 at the time, possibly 12. This woman I would say, I'd place her in her mid-30s, maybe early 40s, decided she wanted to be on the train ahead of me. So as I'm getting on, I'm literally like 1 foot is on the train, 1 foot is off the train. My momentum's going forward. She grabs me by my backpack and pulls me off the train. Bearing in mind, like almost everybody else is on. I'm clearly with a school group. And she tries to get on instead. I had no idea what was going on. I kind of panicked a little bit and I swung around.
Because you need to get on the train.
I need to be on the
get
train. And I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know, you don't expect someone to grab you, so I'm just like, what the hell? Someone's grabbed us. So I just turned around and swung, and I hit this woman right in the gut.
Excellent.
And she like stumbled backwards and looked like she wanted to kill me, right?
Because she got punched by some kid.
And then I get on the train, literally as this is happening.
Big
as the
swanton bomb off the carriage.
But the doors are closing as this is happening. But then I don't know, the doors opened a couple of times. You know when people are getting on and the doors don't close and they open and close.
And they don't close because there's people at the other doors.
Yeah, so we're still in there for another a minute and a half maybe before these doors close. And then I get on and Christopher Farrell, and a friend of ours, is like, what the hell just happened there? So I just explained the story to him because people were only kind of slightly aware of what just happened.
Why did James just punch that random Italian woman?
But there's a melee getting on this train. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then it was funny. 10 minutes into the trip, I'm just looking sort of blankly down the corridor, and I caught her eye again. She managed to walk up to the next entrance.
Yeah, and got
get
on
on.
a bit of the train. I love
And
the
she's
idea.
just
I love the
staring
idea
at
that
us.
she's
I'm just like, holy shit.
Doing the gesture of pointing her 2 fingers at her eyes and then pointing them back at yours.
Oh
Just
my God.
The I'm watching you gesture.
But can you believe that? Why someone in their 30s or 40s would try and pull this like 11-year-old kid out of their group to get on the train. I thought that was like insane. That was like, it was absolutely mad. I felt terrible about what I did, but then as I thought about it, I thought, you know what?
Like, panicking, don't be a dick.
Like, yeah, like, don't be an arsehole. Like, I had no idea what was going on. I thought some like random was trying to like kidnap us or something, and
you're a strange place. You're like,
I just went into like fight mode, you know, like it's survival mode type
and
of thing.
also this isn't like a kind of thing like, you don't speak the language, you've got to stay with your group.
Oh yeah.
Not the great. I mean, excellent story, but not the greatest to segue where you go like, just for the record, on a public stream, I don't push women out of the way, but here's a story of me punching a woman as I get on a train.
Yeah. I was 11.
There's a lot of context.
There's a huge amount of context to that one. But yeah, funny story. I was
TLDR
like,
version of it is that it was her fault. She shouldn't have
Oh
tried
my
like
God,
throw
yes,
a kid off a
definitely.
train a kid who's boarding a train in a group.
one of the last to get on as well. Like, I would have been in a station in Italy by myself for the full day.
But you have no idea. You have no idea. It's an
I wouldn't have had
11-year-old
it.
kid.
You know,
like,
you
in
just
a-
panic
in a-
immediately. Like, what the hell? Something stopped me from getting on this train. It's already like the teachers are panicky. You know, they're like, okay, everybody on, quick, type of thing. Like everything's a bit.
It's all or nothing if one kid doesn't get on, and like trains are the worst for this because like with a bus the driver doesn't pull away. I know the doors won't shut or whatever, but the doors, it can be tough stopping the doors from opening and closing on a train. Like if you don't do it and it just happens to work, the driver will just drive away. Like the driver doesn't know that your group got separated, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And yeah, like boarding trains and metros and stuff in groups is tough, as you managed the first time you came out to visit me, and you left one of yours to get was it Ashley who went to get on the train?
Well, for some reason, the train was about to the train was about to pull away, and she decided to just go tearing after it. We all just walked casually towards it. By the time we got down the stairs, the train was gone with her. Right?
The trains are every 20 minutes as well, so she didn't really need a rush.
That was cracking that though.
But yeah, no, the same, not the same happened to me. I didn't punch anyone. This is not a story of me punching people. But during the feria here in Malaga, like the place gets really busy. You know, the big like week-long festival, cultural festival, arguably a week-long piss-up. Like
all festivals are, aren't they? Is that not the?
But
is that not why they were invented?
Literally, yeah. It's just it's like if I was like super religiously inclined, then I would call it a week of debauchery, because that is what it is. It has cultural roots in the way that it's been going on for a long time. But look, majority, I know a piss up when I see one, right? I've been on enough of them myself. I know what a bunch of people heading out to get rat arse look like. This is the whole city participating in it under the guise of culture, which is fine if your culture is getting wrecked. And again, I'm a Geordie. If your culture is getting shit-faced, class, like, I'm all for it. It's weird that if you do it on a Friday, Saturday night and you just get absolutely wrecked and roll in at 7 the next morning, there's something wrong with it. But if it's a city-wide organized piss-up, it is like unmissable, and everyone has to attend. And literally, they have day and night feria, so this is how it works. During the day, everyone gets shit-faced in town. On the night, they go to a special feria ground, which is a literal like location just out of town, maybe about 10 minutes out of town, on a bus, and there are buses running all night to what is essentially a big fairground with loads of tents and buildings, and each of the tents and buildings, some of them are duplicates of clubs and pubs that are in the city centre, operating outside of the city centre, so people can get pissed and dance outside of the city centre and have a good time. That's it. It's fun. It's a laugh. Not so much if you live in the centre of the city, as I do, and you're like, one day maybe you just don't fancy it and you just want to go out and get a coffee, and there are people drunk and just like pissing in the street because they're shit-faced, and that's what people do when they're pissed. Look, again, Geordie, know what this happens, but generally it's not a whole it's not usually a whole thing. So, you know, if people are drunk and pissing in the street, it's normally at like 3 a.m, so I guess people aren't out. But because this just like rolls on all through the night until like 7 a.m, I've been like going out for a run and just seeing some like drunk lass pulling her knickers to one side and just like squatting, pissing in the middle of the street because she's just rolling back in, and it's like, we've all been there, guys. I get it, but normally,
Remember that guy?
normally by the time you're having breakfast, it's kind of like you're back home, but like they're on a different schedule here. It just like runs and runs and runs. Like they're in it for the sesh, man. They'll sun down to sun up, man. They'll just keep going.
Do you remember that time I would text you about that bloke that was just taking a dump in the street, Joe?
Yeah, excellent. But yeah, sorry. This is what goes back to my train story. But the ferry was going on, so it was really busy, and I'd got back in from a flight. I'd been somewhere, and I was getting on the train from the airport. But the train from the airport is on the same line that comes from the coast into the center. So as I go to get on the train is rammed. Obviously, it's like super busy.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to get on the train. The train's busy. It's not at capacity, right? I go to get on, and the second the doors open, this person's like, it's full. And I'm like, if you could just move down into the corridor and not stand by the doors of the carriage, there'd be more space.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, it's full. I'm like, it's not full. I can see spaces by the seats. If you walk down into the corridor, this is pre-COVID. It doesn't even matter, Just walk down the carriage. We are 3 stops from the center, the city center. We're 1 stop from where the ferry takes place. So either one you're going to, you're 1 or 3 stops away. I assume we're all going there or the other one. Just move down the carriage. She's like, no. I'm like, well, I'm getting on anyway, and I've got my big backpack because I always travel with my backpack. I don't take suitcases. Why wheel around a suitcase when you can have it on your back? I'm big enough to carry a backpack. So I start climbing on. She's like, no, and I'm like, I'm getting on the train. She's like, no. And I keep pushing my way on. I'm like, and I just keep saying like, move into the corridor, and she's like, no, there's children. Like this is all taking place in Spanish. She's like, no, there's children. Oh no, I need yours. And I just go, the children can get fucked. And just I was not having it. Like, you've been on a flight, you just want to get home. You're like 20 minutes from home. The train is 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes walk from the train station. I've been on a flight for several hours. You're sweaty and gross, and you're coming back from somewhere that's quite cold to somewhere that's quite hot, and you're already uncomfortable because you're stinky from you just get stinky on flights. You just want to get home, and some people just won't move like a meter down. I'm like, we can all get on and off the train. I swear to God, I'll let you past when you go to get off. It's not like, this is not like the London Tube or the Paris Metro. It's the local trains on the Costa del Sol. It's still not that busy. There's plenty of space for everyone. Why are you standing right by the doors? And you know what happens if you miss it? Just go to the other platform and get the train back 1 stop. And to be honest, people will let you off. I think people have this idea that no one will let them off a train. But shining moment where I said the kids can get fucked. It's like, I was just like, no. What I wanted to say is, no, you can get fucked, woman who won't let me on the train for no reason other than the fact you don't want to move down the corridor slightly. Literally. And I went down the corridor. Once I pushed me way on the train, I just moved down the corridor and then just looked at her with a bemused look on my face, was that so difficult? Look at all this space I've got. And there was tons of space, by the way. I had 2 meters either side of us. Just looking up and down the corridor, being like, why aren't you stood here? You stood up over there. There's more handrails here. There's more, I can actually lean on the side of someone's chair. I'm actually more comfortable than you are stood by the doors. And also, every time we stop at a station, you have to tell people not to get on the train and to keep their eyes on the kids or something. Calm down, gatekeeping train woman. I have no idea. You know what though? What is wrong with people? I had the same on a. You know what? I don't argue with people in English. I think I've got different personalities in different languages, and I think people who speak several languages know this as well. There's something you use like slightly different pathways to speak in different languages, so you have slightly different personalities in different languages. But I remember arguing with some woman on a plane as well, who I just went to put my bag up in the overhead, and she'd put like a tiny laptop bag in there, which they say put under the seat, you know, I'll put it in the. And I was like, sorry, I've just got to put my bag up here. And she was like, there's no space. I'm like, well, there is space. You can move your, we can take your little bag. She's like, there's no space. And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna move. And as I went to move it over, she stood up and got like really confrontational. She's like, there's no space. I'm like, there is space. Like, you don't have to be a Tetris master to sort this shit out. Just I'm moving you. And she got like really confrontational. She's like, move your stuff, move you, like, don't. I was like, wait, calm down, woman. Like,
my God.
it's like, Jesus. Then her husband stands up, and they're all like, these two are mouthing on. I'm like,
If we continue like this, we will.
this is all taking place in French. She's like, no, there's no space. There's no space. I'm like, there is fucking space. Put your bag under your seat. I'm like, and then I was like, the kids can get fucked. No, I'm joking. They weren't involved this time round. But
No kids involved, just like.
Fortunately, no children were insulted in the making of this story. But yeah, I was just like, oh man, Jesus, like, just put your, literally, you don't need an entire overhead for your laptop bag. It fits under the, like, and why would you have it lying down horizontally where it takes up as much space as possible instead of like vertically like a book? If you're gonna do it that way, just like, this is not all for you. We're all trying to coexist as like 300 of us get into a big metal tube of farts to fly across the continent. Just like cooperate. Like,
If people thought that way all the time, though, we'd all get along much better.
The enemy general flees like the coward he is.
It's really, I
Press
get,
onward,
yeah,
break the spirit of his army.
it's probably funny though, and I am a considerate person, but when people aren't, like, and it's something about traveling, people go mental. Like you said, like, this was a train. Like, people suddenly just, like, when they have to get on forms of public transport, people lose their minds.
They do.
It's bless them. But yeah, it should be known on the record that despite these stories of James and I being awful on public transport, that neither of us are misogynists or anything.
No.
It's like, look, James has only punched a woman once, and that's because she tried to throw him off a train.
It's only
which
one
sounds
time.
Much more John Wick than you could possibly imagine. I just feel like I can just feel like an action movie, like in a whole sequence or something. This woman tried to throw James off a train, so he punched her. It's fine. Context is necessary. Rewind 20 minutes, listen to that story so you know the context. He was young, she was not. Really, she was assaulting children.
Yep, that's how I said it.
I have insulted people on public transport in various languages because they were being very selfish about the shared use of public transport, and I decided to let them know my thoughts on the matter. But I haven't punched any women. I haven't punched any Italian women on trains yet.
No. Well, hopefully you won't ever have to.
And I won't. Hopefully, I won't have to. But I don't want to rule it out. I am, I am very pro equality. So it's really your gender or sex will not come into it. It's how much of a dick you're being on public transport is more of what annoys me.
Yeah. If you deserve it.
It's not who you are, it's what you're doing and how much of a dick you're being.
Exactly.
That's my rule of thumb.
Especially if I don't know what the hell's going on, and I don't know if it's a man, woman, or one of my schoolmates who's been a bit daft.
And look, if you're gonna, if you're gonna, so it could have been someone just like being like, Jimmy's gonna miss the train, let's push him off the train and leave him like lost in Italy.
Exactly.
Which is also likely. That's the kind of shenanigans we all love as kids, and the Bandits, as it were.
The battle is very much in our favor. If we remain true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
Well, that
yes,
took a
it
turn,
shall,
didn't it? Victory is ours. Like a young child punching an Italian woman on a train.
Victory is ours.
Victories. Class story though. You know what? She was fine. You were fine. It's humorous.
I'm not sure if she was. She had
She
the
was
best day of her life after that.
No,
I'd
but
like to
what-
think though she kind of realized she was
11-year-old.
being a fucking idiot, and
You're
maybe
11 you're
regretted
11
her
years old.
actions that
it's
day.
Not like you, it's not like you stabbed her and killed her. Like,
No, I was defending myself from being pulled off a train by someone who should know better.
yeah. It's sort of like no harm, no foul. Like, if I was to, you know, try and do that like thing that happens in adverts that doesn't happen in real life, where like the lass is off doing something and the boyfriend comes up behind her and like gives her a hug and it's like super romantic while she's brushing her teeth or some shit like that. If I did that to my lass, she'd literally like elbows in the jaw. Like I could see that happening. If I was just like, guess who? It'd be like I could easily lose some teeth. So in that case, it'd be like, to be fair, I shouldn't have jumped you like I was assaulting you. That one's on me.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
you know, I completely get that. And you know, if I'm sat there going like, why am I at the dentist? You know, fixing a broken tooth or something. What happened? Well, the lass was brushing her teeth and she thought she was in the house on her own. So I thought it'd be really funny to jump on her from behind. And obviously, her reaction was to physically
Don't
defend
do
herself
that.
because she was thought to be. She thought she was being assaulted. So really, it's it's my fault.
That one's on me, yeah.
That is completely. That was. I did not think this through. That's. Yeah. I'd hold my hands up, but she broke my wrist in an arm lock. It was weird that she continued to wail on me 20 minutes after that, given that she knew it was me. Or maybe that's why. But yeah, it's. You know what? Like. Everyone in these stories came out and they were fine. Like, you know, the result is everyone's fine.
Life went on.
Life went on. The stories are funny. Crack-a-lackin'. Just. It's a good giggle. You look back on it. Literally, no one's hurt. No one has any like sustained injuries. That's it. It's like, I mean, in this era, who knows if that was a tweet, Jimmy, from like 20 years ago. This might come up if you were having a political career. If you plan. To
Yeah,
move
but
into
I think
politics,
anyone who heard the story would fully understand that an 11-year-old might freak out a little bit when a grown adult is trying to haul them off the train and is well within their rights to.
Yes, but that's not what headlines would read. It would be like, would be punched woman on train. That
Man
would be
punches
it.
woman on train.
Completely unprovoked. We don't know. We're not going to do our due diligence. We're in the media. Fuck it. We'll just write what we want. And if we're forced to apologize for our inaccuracies, we'll do it later, but much smaller than the original story that caused all the
Yeah.
damage. Welcome to tabloids. They really should just have them. Any retractions should be printed at the same size and prominence of any.
They should, yeah. They should be
errors,
front
like-
page news. Like, oh, we got this one massively wrong.
Especially
Oh,
when they're
did
told
you?
to. Like, by law, when they get something wrong, it's like, and they print a retraction. I think it should take the exact same. They should do it in the same number of words on the same page. Everything. Like, look, if it's like a tiny story in the back
Our men are
and they
winning
made
the
a mistake,
battle.
then
If we
do another
continue
tiny
like
story
this,
in the
we
back. I
will
think that's
smash
fair.
the enemy.
I mean, really, they should just do it front page center and just like the front page of every newspaper should be all the mistakes we've made in massive bold font. Because, you know, it takes a lot more to undo the damage you've done, especially if the information is false. But they would never agree to that. So the fairest way to do it would be to give it as much prominence as the original falsehoods. You know, so if it was the main story, the retraction has to be the main story. If it was the headline, you know. If it's like right in the back and it was a really like nothing story and it was like, sorry, we misspelt so and so's name or whatever, and you thought he was someone else, we'd like to correct this so that so and so stops getting death threats. Or maybe that one you might want to give more prominence to. But you
A
know what I
little
mean.
bit more,
Like,
yeah.
but like, you know, if it was a really like, sorry, so and so who runs the boat club at the park isn't actually called so and so, and we got his email address wrong. So if you could stop emailing this guy because he tells us he's not in charge of the boat club, yeah, that would be great. But if you print breaking front page news and it happens to be complete bullshit, then you should probably not print a correction on the last page in tiny font over one sentence.
Right. Oh, yeah, man, mop them up. Shooting this one guy with crossbow bolts. There's only 2 of them shooting him as well. Let's see if we'll get him. See if we'll nab him before he gets around the corner.
The enemy army
Oh.
flees the field. The enemy are utterly vanquished.
Captain Toby just sounds wholesome, doesn't it?
It does.
You know what? If I had a dog, I might call him Captain Toby.
Captain
Sounds like a
Toby.
good- Sounds like a good dog name, doesn't it? Like just a big
does.
one of these like medium large sized dogs with a lot of fur, just like a full on like good boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not a smaller dog like a spaniel. I don't think you could have a Captain Toby's a spaniel. They're too excitable. You need this one of these like humble looking dogs. You know, like the Beethoven dogs, like a Saint Bernard. If you were like that Saint Bernard's called Captain Toby, you'd be like, yeah, makes sense.
That's
I
a good
feel-
name for that dog.
You can imagine it, right? You're like, this is my dog, Captain Toby. You're like, yeah. I respect his rank.
Oh, right. Well, I don't know if that's maybe a good place to end it. We've lost and gained, although at choice, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, I mean, it was only Cairo, and we were going to lose that anyway, right?
Yeah, so we took
That's just a quick switcheroo, right?
we took a place that's actually making us money and left one that was costing us money. So that's
Win-win.
pretty good. We battered
The
Prince
rebels, and we battled the Holy Roman Empire, and
now
Italian women getting on trains.
and we're gonna take out. Oh yeah, man, that was a huge army. 2 largish armies that we took out today from them, so they won't have much left. Looking pretty good. I reckon we're ready for the assault. We've got this is a full stack now, so we're ready to go. Just need to heal everybody up, and then we can.
To be fair, we've been saying this for we've taken mess, and we took that citadel as well, didn't we? But
Yeah, but we're gonna take next because now last turn when we came in here, there was a large army coming towards us, which I knew we were gonna have to defeat to be able to actually do anything down here. But now that has happened, we can go take whatever this one is, Staufen,
Staufen can get got
and
next
then
time round.
Frankfurt,
Banking capital of Germany, is it not?
and then Bern.
Bern.
We can
That's
get Bern,
the-
Dijon.
Bern. Ah, nice. Does Dijon cut the mustard?
We'll find out next time on Indie Bandits.
We'll see, because we'll load this up next time round for the
They'll
stream.
be attacked straight away.
And suddenly, someone from the far-flung stretches of Europe have decided that it's just time to attack us, and we'll be constantly under bombardment for the next stream.
Yeah.
We'll see though.
Make amends with the Reich.
The world domination is slowly but surely happening. I mean, it's a
We're nearly 150 turns in. We have not done a lot, but we've been constantly under attack. There's only so much money in this game. We've got quite a lot of it now, though, so I can build lots of good stuff.
we got loads of stuff. It's gonna happen. It's like I don't want to jinx it by saying we're at the tipping point now, but I feel like we are. We had that big army.
Hail my king.
We were about to get that big army into action, right?
Well, we
But
got it
then
in action twice this turn, but
But last time round we got we had to dig in deep whilst the army got to where it was, and the Danes and the Holy Roman Empire decided to really start just sending everything at us. But we fought them off, and then the big army's there, and it's like we're in the position now Like where will we be taking next time? That's what I want to know. What is the like
This I want to take Staufen because it's another
Staufen.
citadel, and 2 castles right next to each other means that we only really need a half decent army in one of them, because then we
to
can just
defend them, and we can shift
support
them
both.
between?
Yeah,
Exactly. So Staufen.
Staufen's the target next time, and then from
Staufen.
Staufen we'll be able to build 2 like more men at the same time as well. So then we'll be able to
Yeah,
kind of take some of these
the
crappier
recruitment.
places. Yeah, maybe Hungary is apparently the biggest empire at the minute, so maybe we'll get over towards here and
Do we want to get over to them, or do we want to take
we
over
could just
all the
take
weaker
over Western
people?
Europe. I guess we could go after
Take over
Western
the
Europe.
weaker sides, and then we can vie for Hungary once we have a bigger. Because it would be easier to take over the biggest empire by us absorbing the smaller ones, right, and then having a big empire to face against them, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That logically sound?
yes, we'll do that.
That makes sense.
At some
Then-
point, we've got to whoop the Danish as well because they've been annoying.
Wait, they needed to be taught a lesson because we did nothing to them and they just came and got us. But yeah, we're poised, right? We're like
We're poised.
our legs are sprung like a frog, ready to leap.
We've consolidated.
into-
We can't be. It would take some effort to remove us from this game right now. We've got a foothold. Let's put it that way.
We've got a foothold, but we're not here to have a foothold. We're here to literally dominate all of medieval Europe.
Yep.
And as it stands, we're not doing that.
We're
But
not.
we are in a position to do that.
Starting from 1 or 2 streams time.
4 or 5 streams time.
In 10
Because
streams, we'll be there, guys.
It's very soon, very soon. Once every other nation has had another go of attacking us, we might capture another place.
Yeah.
So Staufen next time.
Staufen.
Then after that, 4 or 5 streams of everyone attacking us. Then we might get Frankfurt.
I mean,
the
Staufen
plan.
should take 2 minutes. There's only 1 unit in it.
So
So,
Staufen, we'll start next stream. Chin and Staufen. Then every civilization will come after us for about 4 or 5 streams. Then we'll take Frankfurt.
yep.
Sounds like a plan.
That's a plan right there. Let's do it. Right, well, I guess all that remains is to say thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. Join us next week when we're back on the warpath through Europe, and you can also check out the other streams that we've been doing, in particular the demo discs, and obviously follow us on the various social media channels. And if you're particularly interested in indie games or indie game development, join us on our Discord as well, which is getting more and more active by the day.
Yes. Just join us, be a part of it. We're obviously on the stream. We don't celebrate indie games, but our mainstay is doing it. This stream's more of an interesting experiment in world domination and fending off attacks from European medieval civilizations. But during our day jobs, we focus fully on indie games and the indie game community, and you can find that all on our social media and the like.
Yep.
And like, comment, and subscribe, and all that kind of crack on. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know all the buttons, you know what to click. Go check us out, get involved.
And we'll catch up with you next time. So it's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me.
Catch you next time. Bye bye.
Don't punch any Italian women, Jimmy.
I'll try not to.
Hurrah!